Hello. I'm feeling a bit sad. I'll tell you why. I've got toothache and it's only a day old. I find with toothache, when it first comes, it's at its worst, and then it remains for a while and it kind of hovers around, does its thing, and then you finally get it sorted. But when it first comes, it's a real gut-wrenching, awful pain. And what happened was, just last night, I was eating my dinner, and what did I have? That's how interesting my food was last night. Anyway, it wasn't up to much. Oh, I'll tell you what I had. I had some hash browns with, not cheesecakes, fish cakes. Because I don't eat fish normally, but every now and then I fancy a bit of fish. So if I have I've got a delivery coming. If I have a bit of fish in a fish cake, then it's not really fish, I don't believe. I think it's all breadcrumbs, bread, potato, maybe a tiny amount of fish, whatever. Fish is very good for the brain, the omega. Is it omega-3 oils, I believe? Something like that. It's very good for the brain, but whatever, that's by the by. So nothing in there was too hard or could have damaged my tooth in any way. It's not like I was trying to chew a bloody toffee. So I felt this pain as I was eating. I did do, I think about 2 or 3 days ago as well, just a little bit of something and nothing pain. Just a little bit of a sharp, oh, cool, what's that, Anyway, so last night, eating my dinner, I'm watching this parcel delivery, see if it's for me. Oh, it's not, that's good. So last night, eating my dinner, and all of a sudden, bzzz, this pain. Oh my God, and it shot down into my jaw. And I thought, wow, what is that? Still got to finish my dinner. So I finished my dinner mostly on this side. And you can't help it. But every time my tongue touched the inner side of this, oh, that pain was back, So it's the inside. Anyway, I finished my dinner. And I gently brushed my teeth. Just gently. And then swilled my mouth out with lukewarm water. That was fine, because I knew either hot or cold would send me up through the bloody roof. So I gently brushed my teeth. I got a little dentist mirror thing, and I had a look, see if there was a little crack on the inside of the tooth. I can't see anything really. I'm as blind as a bloody bat. But I did have my reading glasses on. I did have that little mirror very close to my tooth. Couldn't see anything. But what dentists do, the other side of that mirror, because it's metal, they normally tap on the teeth, don't they? See if there's any pain or whatever. So I thought, well, I'll gently do that, all the 3 sides, because it's the bottom left. So I did, the outer, the top, and the inner. And yeah, there was a bit of pain on the inner, but nothing too major. Maybe a little tiny bit of pain on the top, tiny bit. And the front seemed fine. So I know which tooth it is, and it's the one before we get to the wisdom tooth. It's already full of bloody filling anyway, so they'll probably take it out. I have no idea what they'll do. But the point is, my dentist was still open after dinner. They don't shut until 8 p.m. It's good, isn't it? So I thought, oh, maybe they could see me. It's an emergency. So I rang, spoke to a lovely woman. I said, would you be able to fit me in? I got toothache. No, I would say it was quite painful. I said it's chronic toothache as well. And she said, no, not today, definitely not. I said, oh, really? Like that, Anyway, she said, let me have a look when the closest appointment is. So she said, right, okay, it's going to be next Thursday. I said, yeah, this is for an emergency. She said, that is the emergency appointment. They've now got so many people on their books. There's so many people living in this country now that an emergency appointment, whether it be a hospital, dentist, doctor, whatever, is a week plus away. That's an emergency. So a normal appointment can be a month or 2 away. That's a disgusting, really, situation that we're in. But anyway, that is it. I said, you can't do anything for me. She said, no. She said, that is it. I'm really sorry. Well, that helps. But anyway, whatever. So I said, well, could you put me down for if somebody cancels? And she said, we always do. On the emergency appointment, that's what you're down for. So we will phone you at any time. You know, we know where you live. We know how long it takes you to get here. And, you know, we'll take all that into consideration. And if we think we can, you know, see you and get it sorted, then we will. And I said, okay, well, that's a bit of hope at least, because a week, I don't know how I'm going to be in a week's time. And she said, well, do call back if it's really bad. And I said, well, is there any point in calling back? Because if the first appointment is in a week, then, you know, what can you really do if it's terrible? And she said, oh, there are options, hospital and stuff like that. Oh, lovely. Anyway, so that's the situation, really. So I've got to wait a week. Now, touch wood. Oh, let me have me Slurpee. Cheers. You have to be very, very careful. I'm making a very milky Slurpee, and I'm waiting for it to go not cold, but, you know, tepid. I'm trying to drink it on that side, but that's fine. That's kind of lukewarm. That washes over it. There's no problem. Anyway, I've forgotten where I was, haven't I? So that is the situation, really. I've got to wait a week, and I don't know whether I have the tooth out or whether the filling needs ripping out and putting back in or something. I don't know. I'm not a dentist, but, you know, they'll do whatever they need to do to hopefully alleviate the pain. Now, I'm just hoping that I don't have any more chronic pain or quite severe pain, because last night, if a pain level goes up to 10, initially when I was eating and the pain happened, I'd say it was 9 out of 10, and then all evening it was fluctuating, and it comes in and comes out, but it's 6 to about 8 all evening. And I thought, oh God, I bet I don't sleep tonight. And it was a hot night. Anyway, I left the doors, the windows open, the fan on. Bodie decided to join me, so that's lovely. So I had a little cuddle with him till he got too hot and he buggered off down my feet end. I laid on top of the duvet. I got a fan on my face and a fan on my body. Well, the fan on the body goes like that across the bedroom. And I got a couple of new CDs by Robert Fripp and Brian Eno. So this one I'm just playing in here, just because it's beautiful. So that kind of just sent me to sleep. And I had a reasonable sleep, actually. A couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours later, I was awake for about an hour, but I just had a drink, went outside just to have some cool air on me, and yeah, went back to bed, listened to some music, and I did drift off at some time. So if it remains as it is, which isn't too bad, I have to be careful. You know, I really can't drink anything cold. I did try before I went to bed. I tried drinking a little glass of a little dribble of my cherry Coke, my sugar-free cherry Coke, which I now love. And I didn't want to wash it over that side, so I just drank on this side, but obviously some went over and the pain went like that, straight up. So I have to be very, very careful on that if I'm going to drink it. I do have some straws. I know I've got a metal straw somewhere. But anyway, I've got a pack of, because you can't buy them anymore, can you? Plastic straws. Do you remember plastic was going to ruin the world or something? But I've got about 200 plastic straws. So I can lob that in me gob and I can just drink it out of one side. That'd be fine. But anyway, whatever. So that's the situation. So we'll be sorted in a week. In the middle of, between now and next Thursday, I think next Thursday is the 8th, is it? Something like that, the 8th of May. On about the 4th of May, I think it is the 4th of May, is a funny little video. Hopefully you've seen it. If not, the title is going to be something like A Time to Smile, something like that. And I think you'll enjoy that. It's a bit of a laugh. I enjoyed making it anyway, and it's all good, really. So today we're not going to do a lot at all, and in fact I'm not going to do a lot probably for the next week, because you feel a bit, a bit deflated and I feel a bit headachy. I think that's just a pain really from last night. I feel a bit headachy. I did wake up and I felt a bit sick as well last night. I don't know why. Could have been anything really, but that could be the pain as well. It could be anything. So we're not doing a lot. I will briefly show you just at the end of this video my bathroom. I know I've got a crazy bathroom, I am aware, but I've got some more of those Dreamcatcher hangings to go up on the ceiling, so I'll show you them, and maybe we'll have a quick look, I don't know, just for a minute, and then we'll end the video. But talking about pain and talking about illness and stuff like that, I'm an old hippie, but how I deal with things is to try to put things as far away as possible from me. So what I do, I try to meditate when I can, and if I'm in pain, I think about my body and my mind and my feet, anything like that. And if I think, my left ankle really hurts, so I imagine that the pain, as I'm thinking about it, is just dissipating. It's like it's turning invisible, dripping away. I get a drip sensation, and it's as if it's dripping out of my leg, out of my foot, whatever, and just disappearing off somewhere. And then I think about it maybe being blown by the winds, and it's gone off to some far-off planet, this pain. So I send my pain somewhere else. The other way of dealing with things, sometimes when we're talking about pain, is to cause another pain somewhere in the body, which sounds ridiculous, but I believe that all your pain receptors go to that one thing to try and protect you. They say, don't hurt here, don't touch here, don't do, and they're all protecting it because, you don't want to be damaging it. And I believe all those pain receptors are there. If you can take some somewhere else, that alleviates that little bit of pain for a minute, and also you're not thinking about it. Now I'll tell you what happened years and years ago. I was 14 and I had a migraine, and I was laid in bed, and it was so bad I couldn't bear sound, I couldn't have the light on. In fact, I couldn't even open my eyes. It was that bad. If I moved just half an inch, oh my God. And I remember that I had quite a lot of migraines when I grew up, 14 to about the age of 17 or 18. But this one in particular, I was 14, I was laid in bed, and it was absolutely chronic. And because I started growing up, I got hairy legs, so I was pulling the hairs on my legs. And do you know what? That alleviated, just for that time that I was pulling, it gave my mind a rest, gave my head a rest, did something in there, So I don't think I was meditating, but in my dream-like state, my deep thought state, my semi-awake state, my very ill state, I started to think that if I'm pulling on here, then my brain can't concentrate on the pain there, so it will ignore that pain, let it go. And as I did, I was pulling and pulling on it really hurt, but pulling and pulling on my leg hair, and as much as that was hurting, there was less pain, and it was as if I could feel dripping away or something like that, just seeping out of my brain and just drifting off somewhere. And again, I imagined it was hands and stuff pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. It was going down the road, so this pain was getting further and further away from me. Whether it works or what, I don't know. Whether it's psychosysmatic, whether it's just being I don't know what it is, but that's what I do when I'm dealing with pain. I deal with pain on a daily basis. I've got osteoarthritis, so a certain part of me, whether it's my neck, my lower back, or normally my left ankle, one of them, if not all, will be in pain. So I deal with them in the same sort of way, really. Push it away from me. I don't want it in me, in my body, so it drips out of my body and I push it away. That's what I do. The other way of dealing with things, when you're ill, if you've got a cold, or, I'm not talking about ill as in having cancer or whatever, but if I suppose it could work there, if you've got the common cold, if you've got, whatever, something, some fever, some this, some that, or whatever, I look at the blood, my blood, like a lava lamp, And we got white and red blood cells, haven't we? So you can have whatever colours you want. You can have purple and green or whatever, you know, in this lava lamp. So I imagine in my body that I've got white and red and black. This little bit of black is the pain, it is the lurgy, it is the flu, it is the cancer, it is something nasty within my body. And what I do, I float around this blood, or I'm in this blood, whatever, this red blood, and this red blood and this white blood finds this black, and they soak it up, literally, and it dissolves, and it goes in to these things. So eventually all of my blood becomes white and red, how it should be. And I look all the way in my body for this black. And when there is no black, I'm better. And I do that before I go to bed, or as I'm in bed when I'm awake. And I do that all the time when I'm ill. I've always done it. I don't know why I've done it, but I've always done it. And often I find that sometimes I can go to bed and I think, oh, I've got a bit of a sore throat coming on, and I've sneezed a few times this evening, I don't feel great. So I go to bed and I look through my body and I think, okay, this is like the common cold or whatever, you know, and I find a few little bits of black, and I go, and my red or my white soaks them up, and they're dissipated, they're killed by the good blood cells. So all my blood cells get bigger and stronger, and in the morning I often feel better. Sometimes I can wake up next day with no cold symptoms whatsoever, and that is going to bed with cold symptoms. And that's happened hundreds of times in my life. It's just worth a go. Now, it's probably psychosomatic, to be honest. What you believe is good enough, you know. And we work like that anyway. You look at faith, you look at religion, people that believe in God and the Bible and Jesus and what have you. I don't, but you know, it's up to them what they believe. If they believe that all that's real and true and what have you, that's good enough. It doesn't matter whether it is real, and they don't even need to think about that. They don't need to think, you know, you read the Bible, Adam made a woman out of his rib. Did he? You know, Noah built this ark to contain every animal in the world. Did he? You know, Mary got pregnant by some invisible, wow, did she? You know, the talking snake and the talking bear. You can look at it how you want it, and it is ridiculous. It is just a fantasy story or set of stories, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's funny because no child really would believe it, and yet adults do for some reason. But that's fine, because if you believe it, that is good enough. And like I say, you don't need to put too much emphasis or thought into it. You just need to believe. And if you believe you're getting better, if you believe that you can overcome cancer, if you believe that you will survive this surgery, if you believe that this toothache will be here for the week, I'll allow it to be here as long as it doesn't cause me any hassle. As long as the pain is absolutely minimum, I'll allow it. And such times as it starts to cause me a problem, I will try and push it away and push it away and push it away. And I'll do that every day until I get an appointment, whenever that comes through, or on the 8th, I believe it's the 8th, on the Thursday. So everything is not psychosomatic as such, but what we believe, you know, happens and what have you. It's as simple as that. You can put your mind to doing anything. You can fool your brain as well. You can absolutely fool your brain. You know, if you, when you're giving up smoking, if you are in the process of giving up smoking, do what you normally do. So if you normally roll your fags, don't roll a fag, but pretend. Get the backy, do all that in the air. Just do it. There you go. Put it in and smoke it. Just smoke it. You're smoking nothing, but smoke it. And the brain thinks, oh, he's smoking a fag, you know. If you're normally getting a fag out of the packet, do that. Get this invisible packet, get this invisible fag. Give it a light. Smoke it. And your brain thinks, oh, smoking a fag. And you feel like you've had a little bit of nicotine. You feel a little bit better for that. Same as if you're on a diet. You know, get your bacon in a sandwich and whatever, cut it up with a knife and fork, put it in, chew it, get rid of it. You can look at that in lots of different ways, can't you? If you imagine just right now, do this, right? You've got a fruit bowl. On top of the fruit bowl is a lemon. Okay, so imagine that, right? You've got a fruit bowl, there's a lemon. Pick the lemon up. Now, it's yellow. Feel how heavy it is? Quite heavy, actually. Smell it. Oh, it's zesty, isn't it? You know, a bit. Anyway, so we break it in half. It's dribbling all down our hands. We don't care. All right, and bite into it. Really take a bite and then chew it. Chew it, chew it, chew it, chew it. Can you feel that? Oh, God almighty, it feels, I can feel it in my face. I don't like lemon, and do you know, it makes me go, like that in there. And I can feel it. That's your brain making you feel that. So your brain can be fooled in lots of different ways. You know, if you're frightened somewhere, you know, you can think of not being frightened. You can think of something nice, something calm, something lovely, whatever. If you're going through grief and it's absolutely awful, you don't know which way to turn it into a happy memory. You know, think of your loved one, think of laying on a beach or, you know, whatever, walking through a forest and what have you. Something calm, something... The more calm, quiet, just relaxed you feel, your brain will follow. Your brain will always follow. You can put anything in front of your brain and your brain will follow. Your brain only does what you want it to do. You know, it does other things. It will make you think, you know, paranoia. Oh, what's that noise at the middle of the night? It's your brain going, there was something, you know, did you take notice? I better make you alert to it, you know. But it could be anything. We can fool our brains in lots of ways. So if you're ill, maybe try that, you know, the blood thing that I did, the lava lamp. That's what I think, like a lava lamp. If you're in pain, maybe try pulling the hairs on the legs. Do whatever, you know, try and push it away from you. It doesn't have to be that. You could bite your finger, couldn't you? You could pull a bloody nail back slightly. You know, don't hurt yourself. But, you know, cause enough gentle pain to try and get rid of it. If you've got a headache, a great thing is, you know, that muscle, can you see that muscle there? There, okay? And it's just to massage that. Okay, what can you see? Just to massage that round and round and round that way, round and round and round that way. That really helps with headaches. It really helps. No reason why, I don't think, but it does. Anyway, there's loads of other different things that you can do, really, and you'll find your way. You know, I think when we get to a certain age, we do find our ways of coping and what have you. Perhaps the ways of coping now is far superior than when we were 20, 25, whatever. And perhaps we didn't believe in ourselves as our healers, which we are, at the age of 20. You know, as soon as you got ill, where did you go? Probably to the doctor, you know, but if you get ill now, we don't have that. We don't have that sort of thing at our fingertips anymore. They say, oh, take a photo, go online. No. So we now heal ourselves in whatever way we can. And it's worth trying those few things, really. Anyway, it's a sunny day, but it's much, much cooler. So I'm going to go outside and play B-A-L-L. He's just been to remind me that I did say I would. He just tapped me on the leg and now he's gone outside. So I'm going to go out there, have a little bit of a kick around. I'm not going to do a great deal, but I will show you briefly the hangings that I mentioned for the bathroom ceiling. They're a bit crazy, I know. Have a good day. Excuse me. Go and watch the video if you haven't seen it. A Time to Smile. I think I've called it something like that. It's about 5 or 6 minutes long. You might have a chuckle, you might have a smile. Take care and be well. So there you go, got that lot to go. About 40 of them. And then I've got these as well. And a few other little bits to do, and then the bathroom's done and complete. But obviously I'm obsessed with these. So let's get cracking. There we go. Job done. I say job done. Who knows? So as we come into the bathroom, this is what we see. I love them, obviously. It's a bit different. There we go. Just a few bits to do in the bathroom to finish off. I bought a hot glue gun, so you might see me with no fingers in the next video. It's a laugh, isn't it, eh? I loves it. Loves it, I told you. So, that's that. Don't forget to watch the video called Time for a Smile. Take care and be a crow.